Rolling Quartz. This is a band who I checked out their most recent song, Victory, just after it came out. And I was kind of surprised because I'd heard of Rolling Quartz so much as really being the quintessential example of a K-rock band in a Korean music scene mainly dominated by, obviously, K-pop, which has had so much international success. But I've been really hoping for some good Korean rock music, and I've got to be honest, I've been kind of sleeping on Rolling Quartz. I heard a couple of songs from them a few years back. I can't say I actually remember which songs they are, so as a result, anyway, look, after doing that last video, I thought I'm going to see what you guys recommend I should listen to next. You've clicked on this video, you already know where this is going, but I'll just quickly show you. I had the comments come up and there were a lot of people talking about things like covers, which is kind of cool, but I don't know if I necessarily want to start with the covers. I want to kind of get to know the band and their writing. As I always say, writing is the top thing for me. And one of the comments that appealed to me here was this really cool one from Wayne Benedict 4609, who listed a bunch of songs. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go in with the first one, Blaze. I don't know if this is why he labeled it that, but apparently this was their debut single. I haven't heard it, so I'm going to hear it now of you guys. I'm going to work on the basis as well. This appears to be a official music video, but we'll find out together. You can already know, I'm sure. Anyway, let's check it out. As I said before, just quickly before we get into this, in regards to the music, I was very impressed by just how raw the sound of the new single Victory is. I'm not one of those people, I don't need rock music to be raw to enjoy it, but just that was interesting as a counter to just how produced a lot of K-pop is. And as mentioned, in a way, for all that K-pop has going for and against it, I want the Korean rock scene to be so identifiably different. Yeah, maybe some strands of similarities, but I want it to be so identifiably different that it feels like its own thing. And that's really what one of the things that really excited me about Victory. So anyway, we're going to go from their most recent single to what appears to be their first single. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Let's get into it. As always, like, subscribe, YouTubery stuff. I have to say that, otherwise people don't. Anyway, let's go. All right. I was not expecting it to go double time. Cool guitar sound. Stop art or start put. I don't know. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. This is one of those intros where it's really cool and you're just hoping that they build off of it. Good start though. Oh, liking that double kick usage there. Nice backing vocals as well. Building up those layers, this is really good. Okay. Pay it off with a chorus. This is a really great build-up. Okay, it's a good chorus, but is it just me? I feel like I want to hear the drum overheads turned up a bit more in the mix. Oh, that's nice. That one note. I like that. I like that. It's a good melody. Alright, now it's time for the bridge. The only thing more important. That bass tone is awesome. Something's okay. I'm really liking the song, but I have some issues with the mix. Oh. Oh, nice. Leave us hanging with that last note. The unresolved chord pattern. There it is. Leave the logo on the screen while we talk about this. Okay. First things first. Let's get into the most important thing, which is the actual songwriting itself and the performance. Because you know I'm going to come back to that mix in a moment. I have very complicated feelings about that. But first of all, in regards to the songwriting, I thought this was really cool. So, one of the things that I want to give massive credit to this for is, again, structurally, it's quite, we've seen this kind of thing before. It's very simple structure, but it's very effective. And they kind of put their best foot forward in a lot of ways. So again, it's very melody focused, which apart from the fact that, hey, focusing on melody is a great thing in any single anyway. It's got a really nice melody, which obviously also gives them a chance to put forward the fact they've got a really great singer. So she uses her voice much more in this song than Victory, the most recent song. And no discredit to Victory, it's a very different type of song, but I much preferred hearing her voice really projecting in this, and the way that she was able to sort of blast that chorus. And, you know, even this, I don't feel like she's pushing her limits, but you don't have to push your limits. You just want to hear a good voice being used. And this for me was, her voice felt like it was really being used right here. So that was fantastic. You know, great singer being given a chance to sing a great melody. I'm all for that. In the background, we had the bass work. I was really impressed by. The bass tone was really nice. And I know she wasn't playing anything super complicated, but again, for me, it doesn't have to be complicated to be good. You just have to know where you fit in the song. And a lot of it was sort of very chugging bass lines, but there were some nice little breaks in there. There were some nice bits, like, for example, that bit where she just had that one note, the boing. I think there's too many bass players who had, pulled the lead out. I'm not listening to anything anyway. I might as well take this off. There's too many bass. Now I look like a Smurf. There's too many bass players who just start like throwing in, like, you know, you give them half a second of silence and they'll be like, and just think, it doesn't always need to be that. And I think that one hanging note was just a good example of a bass player who's thinking more about the effect of the music and, you know, using the spacing rather than just throwing in notes for the sake of going, look, I'm really good at this instrument. So I actually thought that was really cool. The guitar work, again, nicely done. There was that cool solo in there, and, you know, sort of nice counter between, you know, we started off as guitar solo and rhythm, and then two guitar solos from what I could hear. You have two guitarists were soloing together. That was really cool. And the drum work, again, seemed to be really good. But this is where we need to slightly move on to there was a problem with the mix. Now, I want to be clear for anyone who's not so familiar to separate the mix from the production. The production was very raw here, as in not too many effects, and that was cool. There were some good things about it as well. Like, I loved the sound. It had sort of a nice, sharp, clean sound, a lot like Victory, which was really cool. So it sound, the instruments sounded nice and crisp. That was really nice. The bass tone was really cool as well. Some of that is the mixing EQ, I admit. And, you know, drums as well, really nice and clean. Everything sounded super clean, which was good. But so the mixes in the levels was, I don't know what was going on there. Like, some bits were, it sounded like something where they got the basic levels right and then just rushed it out the door without looking at individual moments. So it's like, you know, you set a certain mix, you know, this is going to be this now, this is going to be this now, and so on and so forth. At different points in the song, you might want to move those volumes. That's the normal thing to do. So, for example, one of the things that really baffled me was the overheads on the drum kit. So basically, you're talking about the cymbals and stuff. This was really, it was lacking mostly on the crash, I think. Like, sort of so, like, there was that one note where I think it was just at the beginning of the bridge. You see her, like, you physically see her swing and smash it down. And all you hear is a... It's like, there's virtually nothing. And this was especially... This kind of highlighted something I'd already noticed in the first chorus. With a chorus, people sometimes overlook this. That sort of crashing sound of like hitting like one of the cymbals on the first note of the chorus, which is a common thing for a rock song. That's so important because that's the bit which really sort of blasts everything in. Because most of the time guitars, you know, especially electric guitar, it's a fairly consistent volume when you're strumming away on it. Most of the drums are sort of rumbling along, and the vocal is going to be mostly the same volume when it's held notes. The crash is like the thing that blasts you in. So it's important it's quite loud, and when the chorus started, it just wasn't there. And as a result, you kind of got kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, and you're listening for those dramatic sounds. I think sometimes people don't like turning up those sounds because they feel like it's a messy sound. Okay, but it was well recorded. Everything was well recorded, so I didn't think it was going to be a blur. I just think it was lacking that, and then it lacked that again when they had that one particular note where they just showed her hitting it, and you heard virtually nothing. I was like, what's going on here? And then also I noticed that during the guitar solo, so it was a guitar solo bridge, which is a fairly standard thing. Okay, I usually like bands like this who've got such good writing. I like them to do something a little bit more creative, like put an entirely different chord pattern into the bridge so that the guitar solo's got something more interesting to interact with. That's probably, for me, the most, sort of probably the most unimaginative part of the song, and I liked all the rest of the song really great. And it wasn't like the bridge was bad, it was just like, okay, it's just kind of, it was fairly standard. But then you had the guitar solo coming, which was really cool. But I was listening to it, and at first I was looking like, wait, do they have one guitarist or two guitarists? Because the rhythm guitar was so quiet that you couldn't make out if it was even happening. And that's the thing, when you've got the guitar solo wailing away there, you want to give the backing a lot of energy so it lifts it up. And so you want that sort of growling rhythm guitar, and it just wasn't there. And it seemed like that was almost done just so that when the rhythm guitar became another lead guitar, and respect them for not overlayering and just doing exactly as it would be live, but when the second guitar moved up to being a lead guitar as well, it was almost like they were worried that you would lose too much by the rhythm suddenly dropping out. But we've seen this with like so many other bands, like, dare I say, things like Love Bites and such. Like, we've seen you can do that. It's fine. Because when you have two guitars suddenly soloing together, it's fine. You suddenly add this much more intense sound to the solo, and so you can lose a bit from the rhythm if you want. Maybe even just turn up the bass a little bit at the same time that you do that. So for me, this was like a really nicely written song. With really nice crisp recording and good production that had like a lazy as hell mix. So it's got to be honest. So like it sounds like, when you've been into a studio, anyone who's been into a studio and worked on a mix, you'll know that feeling when you listen to something, you go, it's almost there, but don't put it out yet. We got to just like work on the details a little bit. This sounded like that. So I was really kind of baffled by the seemingly, I would say, obvious like issues, but that's with the mixing. When it comes down to the band, though, I like what they're doing. I really like what they're doing. Again, the bridge was perhaps the only bit of the song where I was like, okay, fair enough. But the rest of the song, chorus was really on point, really catchy, well delivered. The verses were so cool. They went through so many different things. The second verse had those nice little rhythm changes. I think a lot of it comes down to the bass player. Again, the bass player not going for anything super complicated, but just really putting in nice touches in all the right places. Accenting things really well. So I think she was great for adding a sort of a funky energy to everything. So, credit to everyone. This was really nice. I enjoyed this. 2 for 2. Both the songs I've heard so far definitely sound like singles. I'll maybe go for a couple more of the singles that you guys suggested. And then, if I'm still enjoying it as much as I am right now, mixing aside, if I'm still enjoying it as much as I am right now, then I might dive into some of the album tracks to try and sort of dig out more of the variation. I'm suspecting that a lot of the more variation, more of the experimental stuff will probably be non-singles. But for now, I'm really enjoying this. I'm looking forward to checking out more. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts in the comments. See what I did there. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Looking forward to hearing it. This was really cool. And I'm definitely in for hearing more of them. I'm more impressed with this band than, I've got to be honest, I was expecting to be. I don't know, it's only 2 songs, and I know they're both singles, and that's what I'm judging them as, but they were both really good singles, and they were really fun, they had good delivery, so awesome. I'm definitely up for checking out more. Anyway, those are my thoughts as always. Always honest here. Get in the comments, tell me what you think, and until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.